Chosen one. Welcome back. Sit with this for a moment, because what I'm about to say is not casual. It's not something meant for the masses. It's not a message that applies to just anybody scrolling through life. This message is for someone who has been quiet. Not weak. Quiet. Someone who walked away without clapping back. Someone who withdrew without explaining. Someone who went still when everything in them wanted to speak, correct, defend, or fight. You've been silent, but not defeated. You've been silent, but not insignificant. You've been silent, but more powerful than you realize. Because your silence, that deep, intentional, spiritual silence, just shook the entire spirit realm. And heaven felt it. Hell felt it. Every false connection felt it. Every demon assigned to distract you felt it. Every person who underestimated you felt it. Your silence wasn't emptiness. Your silence was a signal. Your silence was a withdrawal of divine energy from wrong places. And the moment you pulled it back, everything shifted. Today, I'm going to show you exactly why your silence is terrifying to darkness. Why heaven honored it. And why the realm unseen responded violently when you stopped talking and started listening. Let's begin. Chosen one, you didn't get quiet because you had nothing to say. You got quiet because what you were about to say was too sacred to be wasted. People thought you were done. They thought they broke you. They thought the situation overwhelmed you. They thought the betrayal silenced you. They thought the disrespect drained you. They thought the spiritual attacks successfully muted your purpose. But heaven knew the truth. You weren't shutting down, you were shifting dimensions. Your silence was an elevation, not a retreat. Your stillness was a spiritual promotion. Your withdrawal was a repositioning. Your spirit said, I don't argue with low vibrations anymore. I don't justify myself to people who already decided what they believe. I don't negotiate with darkness. I don't waste sacred breath on unworthy ears. Your silence wasn't weakness, it was alignment. Heaven saw you stop reacting to nonsense. Heaven saw you stop defending your name. Heaven saw you stop trying to explain your purity to people committed to misunderstanding you. Heaven saw you choose peace over proving yourself. And the moment you chose higher, heaven began to honor you. Because elevation always starts quietly, before it becomes visible. This might sound dramatic, but it's spiritual truth. Hell panicked the moment you got quiet. Not when you cried. Not when you vented. Not when you expressed your pain. Not even when you prayed out loud. Darkness panicked when you stopped speaking. Because silence is the final form of spiritual authority. When you stop speaking, you become unpredictable. When you stop arguing, confusion hits the enemy camp. When you stop reacting, every monitoring spirit loses its assignment. When you stop giving emotional access, demons lose data. Your silence cut off every energy leak that was draining your power. Your silence ended cycles of manipulation. Your silence broke patterns that words alone couldn't break. Because silence is not empty, it's encrypted communication. And your silence told the spirit realm, this battle is beneath me. I won't engage here anymore. I'll let heaven respond for me now. I'm done fighting in places God already left. The moment you stopped responding, the enemy lost control. Your silence didn't just affect demons. It affected people. Because whether they admitted it or not, you were the source. You were the encourager. You were the grounding presence. You were the clarity giver. You were the one they drained emotionally, mentally, spiritually, energetically, without ever giving back. And they only realized your value when you stopped speaking. When you withdrew your energy. When your voice no longer soothed the chaos they created. When your wisdom no longer rescued them from their own decisions. When your emotional labor was no longer free. Your silence exposed every fake bond. Because real ones lean in when you get quiet. Fake ones get angry, confused, or distant. Because without your giving, they have nothing to take. Your absence revealed their dependence. Your silence revealed their intentions. Your withdrawal revealed their true relationship with you. Some people weren't connected to you. They were connected to your light, your strength, your stability, your compassion, your spiritual insight. But the moment you went silent, their access ended. And that's when the spirit realm shifted in your favor. You ever notice this? When you talk too much, the breakthrough delays. When you try to explain yourself, people twist your words. When you defend your intentions, people still misunderstand. When you justify your decisions, people judge anyway. But the moment you stop explaining, heaven starts intervening. Because explanation is often a sign of spiritual unrest. Silence is a sign of spiritual surrender. You finally said, "God, I trust you more than their opinions. I don't need every voice to approve me. I don't need every person to understand me. I don't need clarity from man when heaven gave me purpose." And heaven said, "Now I can move." Your silence made room for divine justice. Your silence activated heavenly protection. Your silence opened the door for spiritual restoration. God doesn't need your explanations. He needs your obedience, and you obeyed by going silent when your flesh wanted to fight. That is why heaven is now fighting for you. Chosen one. You didn't choose silence because you were defeated. You didn't choose silence because you ran out of words. You didn't choose silence because you gave up. You chose silence because your soul demanded a reset. You reached a point where your spirit said, "No more noise. No more draining conversations. No more explaining. No more proving." And the entire universe paused, because when a chosen one goes still, something divine begins. Your silence wasn't emptiness, it was healing in progress. You were not withdrawing. You were recalibrating. You weren't shutting down. You were reconnecting to your original blueprint. Your silence became the quiet laboratory where heaven reconstructed you from the inside out. Because before God elevates a chosen one, He always takes them through a resetting season. A season where distractions fall away. A season where your voice quiets so your spirit can rise. A season where the atmosphere becomes still long enough for you to hear what you've been missing. You didn't go silent by accident. Your soul staged an intervention. It said, "You cannot keep functioning on fumes. You cannot pour from a broken container. You cannot serve while spiritually dehydrated. You cannot shine while surrounded by shadows." And in that silence, everything in you began to detox. You detoxed from people who drained you. You detoxed from environments that suffocated you. You detoxed from conversations that lowered your vibration. You detoxed from habits that kept your spirit heavy. Silence became the medicine. Stillness became the sanctuary. Withdrawal became the purification. You weren't avoiding the world. You were rediscovering yourself. And let's be honest, you forgot who you were for a moment. You forgot your value, your gifts, your authority, your light. But in silence, those sacred pieces returned to you one by one. You started hearing your intuition again, louder than ever. You started feeling God's presence again, closer than ever. You started recognizing your boundaries, stronger than ever. You started sensing your purpose, clearer than ever. This wasn't a breakdown. It was a spiritual recalibration. Every time you chose not to respond, you regained spiritual oxygen. Every time you stopped explaining, your soul aligned with truth. Every time you stepped back, heaven stepped forward. Silence reset your nervous system. Silence reset your peace. Silence reset your discernment. Silence reset your entire energy field. And the realignment? Oh, chosen one, it was divine. Your spirit realigned with your calling. Your purpose realigned with God's timing. Your path realigned with your destiny. Your identity realigned with heaven's version of you, not the world's. You began to see. What doesn't belong falls away. What isn't aligned cannot stay. What isn't meant for your future loses access. Who isn't assigned to your purpose disappears by default. Your silence became the doorway that separated your old self from your elevated self. And once a chosen one resets, there is no returning to who you were. Because silence didn't empty you. It refined you. Silence didn't isolate you. It insulated you. Silence didn't lower your power. It concentrated it. You stopped leaking energy. You stopped overgiving. You stopped sacrificing your peace. And now your spirit stands taller. Your inner world stands stronger. Your energy stands protected. This silent season rebuilt you. Now you walk differently, think differently, discern differently, forgive differently, connect differently, pray differently. You're not just reset. You're realigned with destiny. Everything you lost in noise, you regained in silence. Everything confusion stole, clarity returned. Everything chaos distorted, peace restored. Everything darkness clouded, light reclaimed. This silence was not a pause. It was the turning point. The realm of the spirit has already acknowledged the upgraded version of you. The earth is about to see it next. Chosen one. Your silence was not the end. It was the divine reboot. Before the greatest season of your life begins, every chosen one has watchers. Some physical, some spiritual, some conscious, some demonic. They observe your life, study your habits, track your patterns, anticipate your reactions, predict your movements. It's how the enemy tries to sabotage your progress. But then, you went silent. Your silence disrupted every plan. Your silence confused every monitoring spirit. Your silence stopped predictable patterns. Your silence blinded every enemy waiting for a reaction. Because silence is spiritual camouflage. When you say nothing, the enemy sees nothing. When you move quietly, the enemy can't attack what it cannot track. Your silence became your shield. Your stillness became your protection. Your withdrawal became your invisibility cloak in the spirit. No wonder the atmosphere shifted. You are no longer being watched. You are being guarded. Chosen one. This is where I need you to really listen. Your silence didn't just shake the earth. It shook heaven. It shook the entire angelic realm. Because your silence was surrender, and surrender is worship. Not the kind you do with words. The kind that comes from the soul. And heaven responded. Not softly. Not gently. Not slowly. Heaven responded loudly. God released new instruction. Angels received new assignments. Your protection was upgraded. Your path was cleared. Your enemies were scattered. Your spirit was strengthened. Every time you chose silence instead of reacting. Heaven said, "That's my child. That's my warrior. That's my chosen one. Now I will lift them." You think nothing happened. But everything happened. Your silence changed you. It matured you. It cleansed you. It upgraded you. You're not the same person you were before you went quiet. Your spirit is sharper. Your energy is purer. Your wisdom is deeper. Your boundaries are solid. Your discernment is unshakable. You can no longer tolerate people who disrupt your peace. You can no longer engage in conversations beneath your purpose. You can no longer explain yourself to anyone who doesn't carry heaven's insight. You can no longer shrink your power to make others comfortable. Your silence transformed you into the version heaven always saw. From now on, you speak when it matters. You act with intention. You move with purpose. You forgive without reconnecting. You love without abandoning yourself. You walk with God, not crowds. This new you is spiritually untouchable. Chosen one, hear me. Your silence was never a setback. It was your setup. Your silence was not weakness. It was wisdom. Your silence was not defeat. It was divine discipline. And now that you've walked through this sacred season, you're about to step into a level of power, clarity, protection, purpose, and spiritual authority that no enemy can stop. This is the moment heaven rewards the silent ones. The ones who didn't clap back. The ones who didn't retaliate. The ones who didn't seek revenge. The ones who trusted God instead of their emotions. You didn't lose your voice. You just aligned it with heaven. And now, Every word you speak will carry weight. Every decision you make will carry authority. Every step you take will shake the ground. If this message spoke to your soul, type, "I receive," in the comments. Share this with another chosen one who's been silent lately. And make sure you subscribe, because your next season requires guidance, clarity, and divine insight. Chosen one. Your silence was your breakthrough in disguise. And now, heaven is about to make noise on your behalf. Your silence shook the spirit realm. And your next move will shake the world.